Many things that we know about the moon make no sense. The moon reverberated like a bell for up to an hour.
Decades ago, Giorgio A. Tsoukalos warned of alien influences on Earth. Dismissed by many, now emerging scientific evidence is proving he was right. Now the truth is finally coming to light. One question remains. What would this mean for humanity? The man who saw patterns. Giorgio A. Tsoukalos, born on March 14, 1978 in Lucerne, Switzerland, is widely recognized as the face of the Ancient Aliens television series. With Greek and Austrian roots, he grew up fascinated by the mysteries of early civilizations and the legends that surrounded them. Over time, those interests evolved into a lifelong obsession with ancient monuments, forgotten cultures, and unexplained artifacts. After graduating from Ithaca College in New York with a degree in communications in 1998, Tsoukalos initially pursued a career unrelated to his later fame. He worked as a bodybuilding promoter and event organizer, a detail that surprises many of his fans. However, his real passion was always in the mysteries of human origins and the possibility that early civilizations may have been influenced by advanced beings from beyond Earth. By the late 1990s, Tsoukalos became the publisher of Legendary Times magazine, a publication dedicated to exploring the so-called ancient astronaut theory. The theory suggests that extraterrestrial visitors came to Earth thousands of years ago, teaching humanity agriculture, engineering, and astronomy. This idea had been around for decades, popularized by authors like Erich von Däniken. But Tsoukalos helped bring it into mainstream pop culture through television. When Ancient Aliens premiered on the History Channel in 2009, Tsoukalos's distinctive energy, appearance, and conviction quickly made him a central figure in the series. To viewers, he represented a new kind of theorist, part historian, part showman, part believer. His statements often blurred the line between documented archaeology and speculative interpretation, creating an atmosphere that balanced entertainment and mystery. Tsoukalos claimed that patterns in ancient architecture and mythology pointed to something more than human innovation. The alignment of the pyramids at Giza with Orion's belt, the precise astronomical orientation of Stonehenge, and the massive carvings of the Nazca lines in Peru were, in his view, evidence of advanced knowledge that early humans could not have achieved alone. He described these sites as messages in stone, designed to survive time and deliver meaning to future generations. Mainstream archaeologists and historians have consistently rejected such claims, citing the lack of physical evidence and the ingenuity of ancient peoples themselves. To most experts, his interpretations represent pseudoscience, an imaginative but unfounded reading of history. Yet his influence on popular culture remains undeniable. The meme of his wide-eyed expression under the caption, "I'm not saying, it was aliens, but it was aliens," became an internet phenomenon, transforming him into a symbol of both curiosity and controversy. Despite criticism, Tsoukalos continued to expand his platform. Through conferences, interviews, and appearances around the world, he maintained that humanity's collective past holds a hidden message. His arguments often focus on the recurring symbolism across ancient cultures: winged figures descending from the heavens, glowing chariots in the sky, gods teaching humans art and science. To him, these were not coincidences but fragments of a single global story. While most scientists dismiss the idea of extraterrestrial teachers, Tsoukalos insists that ancient myths may preserve distorted memories of real encounters. The consistency of these myths, he argues, suggests a shared origin that modern scholarship overlooks. His view challenges not only archaeology, but the human understanding of progress itself, proposing that humanity's first steps toward civilization were guided by otherworldly intervention. Giorgio A. Tsoukalos remains a polarizing figure, admired by followers who see him as a visionary, and criticized by scholars who view his work as speculative fiction dressed in scientific language. Yet his persistence has forced millions to look again at history's oldest mysteries. Whether seen as a truth seeker or a storyteller, Tsoukalos stands as the modern interpreter of a question that refuses to fade. What if the past we know is only half the story? Across deserts and jungles, from Egypt to Peru, Tsoukalos pointed to monuments that seemed to whisper the same message through time. Were they mere temples or coordinates, markers left behind by those who came before? Stay tuned, because the mystery deepens as ancient structures begin to reveal a hidden alignment that defies explanation. The prophecy buried in stone. From the beginning of his career, Giorgio A. Tsoukalos argued that Earth's most mysterious monuments might hold a hidden message, a message left not by kings or priests, but by visitors from the stars. His theory suggested that the great stone structures of antiquity were not random feats of human ambition. They were deliberate, coordinated, and possibly interconnected across continents. Among his most cited examples was the Great Pyramid of Giza. Rising from the sands of Egypt with mathematical precision, the pyramid has fascinated scholars for centuries. Tsoukalos often noted its near-perfect alignment with true north and its proportional relationship to Earth's dimensions. He argued that such precision implied a level of knowledge far beyond what ancient builders could have achieved using primitive tools. To him, it was not just a tomb, it was a signal. He found similar patterns in Peru, where the Nazca lines stretch across the desert floor in massive geometric shapes and animal figures, visible only from high above. Archaeologists believe they were made as offerings to gods or for ritual purposes. Tsoukalos saw something else: ancient runways. He suggested they were markers for beings who once traveled the skies in ships of light, what ancient cultures described as chariots of fire. In Mexico, the pyramids of Teotihuacan stood as another riddle. Their layout, when viewed from above, mirrors the alignment of the Orion constellation, just like the pyramids at Giza. To Tsoukalos, this could not be accidental. Across oceans and millennia, ancient builders seemed to follow the same celestial blueprint, as if guided by a single source of instruction. Even more intriguing were reports from satellite and radar studies showing electromagnetic anomalies beneath some of these ancient structures. Researchers have detected unusual heat signatures inside the Great Pyramid and unexplained magnetic fields in parts of the Nazca region. Scientists remain cautious, citing natural causes or gaps in data, but for Tsoukalos and his supporters, these readings were signs of ancient technology still pulsing beneath the surface. He called these places energy beacons, designed to resonate with forces beyond human understanding. If true, it would mean that humanity inherited a network of coded monuments, each one transmitting data not only through time, but perhaps through space. Whether spiritual or mechanical, Tsoukalos claimed they were built to speak to someone or something out there. Critics argue that his interpretations oversimplify history and disregard local cultural meaning. Egyptologists emphasize that the pyramids were funerary monuments, built by skilled engineers using well-documented methods. Archaeologists in Peru explain that the Nazca lines correspond to ancient irrigation rituals and religious practices. Yet, despite the academic resistance, the allure of Tsoukalos's perspective persists. People around the world continue to wonder if the ancients knew something that modern science has yet to rediscover. Tsoukalos's approach invites a reconsideration of history, not as a linear human story, but as a puzzle whose missing pieces might lie in the heavens. To him, the global alignment of sacred sites was no accident. Each temple, pyramid, and carving was part of a larger plan, a cosmic map pointing toward a time when humanity would finally understand the message hidden within the stones. Whether seen as evidence or coincidence, the patterns he described continue to fascinate both believers and skeptics. For Tsoukalos, the monuments are not silent. They are speaking in geometry, alignment and light, waiting for the world to listen. As Tsoukalos studied monuments aligned with the stars, a new layer of the mystery emerged. Strange lights and cosmic signals began appearing in the same constellations ancient builders once worshipped. Could the sky itself be part of the message? The message in the skies. For decades, Giorgio A. Tsoukalos had looked to the ground, at pyramids, temples, and carvings, to uncover the traces of ancient contact. But as technology advanced, he turned his attention upward. To him, the heavens were not empty. They were alive with patterns that echoed the warnings carved into stone thousands of years ago. He believed the sky itself was part of a grand communication system, one that humans had forgotten how to read. Throughout Ancient Aliens, Tsoukalos often pointed to celestial alignments, ancient star maps, and myths describing beings descending from the clouds. He argued that these were not symbolic references but literal memories of real encounters. The constellations, he said, were more than navigational tools. They were coordinates marking the paths of visitors who once came to Earth. The theory gained attention in 2020 when a series of unexplained atmospheric flashes were recorded across South America, Africa, and Asia. Witnesses described synchronized blue and red bursts that appeared and vanished within seconds. While astronomers attributed them to satellite reflections and atmospheric disturbances, Tsoukalos saw something different. The phenomenon matched descriptions from ancient Mesopotamian texts referencing fires of the gods that signaled their return. He revisited those texts and found a numeric sequence repeated across cultures, the same pattern of intervals that modern radio astronomers had recently detected in deep space signals. The similarity was eerie. For Tsoukalos, it was evidence of what he had long suspected, a cosmic recall signal, a beacon calling from somewhere beyond Earth. In 2023, a private aerospace firm publicly acknowledged intercepting rhythmic pulses from an unknown origin. The signals, though faint, repeated with precision and were unlike any known terrestrial transmission. The company later removed the data from its website, but by then the information had spread online. Independent analysts noted that the pulse frequencies matched ancient Sumerian number systems, particularly those linked to temple astronomy. Mainstream scientists urged caution, explaining that cosmic radio bursts are common natural phenomena. But Tsoukalos pointed out an unsettling coincidence. The signals originated from the same region of space that ancient Egyptians associated with Osiris, the god who came from the stars and returned to them. This convergence of myth and modern science blurred the boundary between ancient symbolism and astrophysical reality. If the ancients had documented cosmic visitors, could they also have known where those visitors came from? Tsoukalos suggested that humanity might be receiving the same transmission again, thousands of years later, just as the ancients once did. His claims, as always, drew heavy criticism. Astronomers accused him of mixing speculation with scientific data. Historians argued that reinterpreting ancient texts through a modern technological lens ignored their cultural context. Yet even critics admitted one thing: his ideas made people look up again. Across online communities and documentaries, interest in the connection between myth and the cosmos began to grow. By late 2024, the sky message had taken on new meaning. Weather satellites recorded unusual energy patterns above the Earth's magnetic poles. Governments dismissed them as auroral activity, but amateur radio enthusiasts detected harmonic frequencies that matched those intercepted a year earlier. To Tsoukalos, this was no coincidence. The message, he claimed, was escalating, just as ancient inscriptions had warned. Whether viewed as prophecy or pure coincidence, the mystery remained unresolved. The sky continued to flicker. The same constellations worshipped by ancient builders now seemed to pulse with a rhythm too precise to ignore. Humanity had reached for the stars, and perhaps something was reaching back. As the strange lights continued and transmissions repeated, Tsoukalos began to revisit his earlier research. Hidden within old manuscripts, he found a chilling timeline, one that pointed directly to the present decade. The monuments had spoken, the skies had answered, and now humanity faced the next phase. Finally, the warning takes shape. The Forgotten Blueprint. Long before telescopes and satellites, ancient builders aligned their monuments with stars that modern astronomy still struggles to track with such precision. Giorgio A. Tsoukalos believed this was no accident. It was a deliberate design, a code that humanity had overlooked for centuries. To him, the architecture of Earth was a reflection of the heavens themselves. The deeper he studied, the more the connections multiplied. From the pyramids of Giza to the temples of Teotihuacan, the same cosmic geometry appeared again and again. Each site seemed to mimic a celestial pattern, as if the builders were following a universal blueprint. The three pyramids at Giza mirrored the stars of Orion's belt. The Mayan city of Palenque echoed the Pleiades cluster. Even ancient sites in China, India, and Peru showed similar star-based alignments. Mainstream historians called it coincidence. Humans have always looked up for inspiration, they argued. But Tsoukalos was unconvinced. He claimed that these structures were part of a network designed to resonate with specific frequencies from space. According to him, the ancients were trying to stabilize something, perhaps Earth's energy, perhaps communication with another realm. He pointed to forgotten scripts like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which described gates of vibration built by divine architects. Modern science, meanwhile, had begun to explore the concept of resonance frequencies in Earth's crust and atmosphere. The idea that sound and vibration could influence matter wasn't fantasy anymore. It was physics. When researchers at the European Space Agency released satellite data showing unexplained electromagnetic anomalies near ancient sites, Tsoukalos took notice. The disturbances were faint but consistent. They pulsed in rhythm with Earth's Schumann resonance, the planet's natural electromagnetic heartbeat. He believed this was evidence that ancient structures were still responding to cosmic frequencies, just as they were designed to do thousands of years ago. Archaeologists countered that underground minerals could easily explain such readings. Yet in 2024, new surveys over Machu Picchu in Egypt revealed strange magnetic loops that seemed artificially amplified. The findings were quietly archived, but independent researchers published their analyses online, revealing a recurring triangular pattern connecting major sacred sites worldwide. Tsoukalos called it the Earth Grid, a network that could have once functioned as an interplanetary communication system. If his theory was correct, it meant humanity was sitting atop the remnants of an ancient technology, one that had once connected Earth to the stars. The monuments, rather than tombs or temples, could have been machines, gigantic instruments designed to synchronize planetary energy with celestial forces. Skeptics dismissed it as pseudo-archaeology. But to Tsoukalos, the evidence was accumulating faster than anyone could deny. He warned that reactivation might already be underway. If the monuments were once part of a system built to stabilize cosmic balance, then tampering with Earth's electromagnetic field through technology, satellites, or climate manipulation could trigger the same resonance the ancients once tried to control. In ancient myths, there were always consequences when humans ignored divine warnings. Civilizations rose and fell, not through war, but through the return of the light, or the breaking of the heavens. To Tsoukalos, these were not poetic metaphors. They were records of collapse caused by interference with forces beyond human understanding. Now, centuries later, as global electromagnetic activity spiked and strange lights reappeared in the upper atmosphere, the blueprint seemed to be reawakening. The same network that once connected humanity to the stars might be stirring again, without anyone truly knowing how to stop it. As scientists began detecting strange rhythmic pulses around key archaeological sites, Tsoukalos realized the pattern was no longer static, it was growing stronger. The Earth itself seemed to be responding to something unseen. Soon, those frequencies would begin to affect modern technology, and humanity would learn what happens when the ancient signal returns. The awakening frequency. In early 2025, strange interference began sweeping through global communication systems. Satellites glitched for seconds at a time, navigation signals flickered, and deep-sea sensors reported energy spikes rising from beneath the ocean floor. At first, engineers blamed it on solar storms. But when the timing of these disturbances matched the same rhythmic intervals that Giorgio A. Tsoukalos had warned about, the awakening frequency, the coincidence became impossible to ignore. The pattern was clear. Every 37 hours, a low-frequency pulse spread across multiple continents, faint but measurable. It rippled through the planet's electromagnetic field, aligning almost perfectly with the Schumann resonance harmonics recorded above ancient sites. Tsoukalos had predicted this months earlier, calling it the reactivation phase of a system built long before recorded history. In Peru, magnetic sensors placed near the Nazca lines began detecting subtle vibrations beneath the desert. In Egypt, microtremors were picked up under the Sphinx Plateau, all pulsing to the same universal beat. Geological agencies found no tectonic cause, yet the readings persisted. Even the ionosphere reflected those pulses, an atmospheric mirror responding to a source buried deep within the Earth itself. Mainstream scientists issued careful statements, suggesting natural resonance cycles or human-made interference. But some researchers privately admitted that the synchronization between sites separated by oceans was unlike anything previously observed. Tsoukalos saw this as proof that the ancient network he described in Ancient Aliens was stirring again, resonating with signals returning from the stars. As the pulses strengthened, unusual electromagnetic storms formed near the poles, brighter than auroras and moving in geometric patterns. Pilots reported luminous arcs stretching for hundreds of miles, while satellites recorded faint triangular shadows in the ionosphere. The formations echoed ancient geometric carvings found on stone tablets from Mesopotamia and Egypt, symbols that Tsoukalos had once called blueprints for connection. Governments quietly launched investigations. Data from high-frequency monitoring arrays was locked behind classified access. But leaks surfaced, graphs showing synchronized frequency spikes on the exact dates the atmospheric flashes appeared months earlier. The same intervals, the same pulse, the same rhythm. It was as if Earth and sky had begun speaking in unison again. By now, the world's media had noticed. Articles speculated on geomagnetic anomalies, while online communities resurrected Tsoukalos's theories. The idea of a planetary awakening gained traction. Some saw it as the return of a cosmic cycle. Others feared it signaled the beginning of something catastrophic, a resonance event that could reset the planet's energy field. For Tsoukalos, the implications were profound. He believed this was the same process that ancient civilizations had experienced before their sudden declines. The builders of the pyramids, the Mayans, the Indus Valley engineers, all had left behind monuments aligned to stabilize Earth's resonance. Perhaps they had once tried to stop what was now beginning again. As the electromagnetic disturbances intensified, modern technology began to fail in small but strange ways. GPS signals drifted by meters. Power grids flickered without cause. Some scientists suggested that the frequency interference was not just random static, it carried structure, as if modulated by intention. Humanity, Tsoukalos warned, was witnessing the reactivation of a system older than civilization itself. The same pattern that ancient architects tried to preserve in stone was now humming beneath the feet of modern cities. The awakening frequency was no longer a myth. It had become measurable as sensors worldwide continued to capture the rising energy. A new signal suddenly appeared, this time not from beneath the earth, but from deep space. It carried the same pattern, the same rhythm, but at a magnitude never seen before. Humanity realizes that the message may not be from the past at all. It might be a response. The return signal. By mid-2025, the world's observatories began receiving transmissions that no one could fully explain. They were not the random bursts of cosmic noise scientists were used to filtering out. These were patterned, pulsing signals, ordered, deliberate, and strangely familiar. The frequency matched the same cycle that had rippled through Earth's electromagnetic field just weeks earlier. For Giorgio A. Tsoukalos, it confirmed what he had spent his life warning about. The message had returned. At first, the readings came from deep space monitoring stations in Australia and Chile. Within days, others from Europe, Japan, and the US confirmed them. The signal seemed to emanate from a point near the Orion constellation, the same region ancient Egyptians associated with Osiris, the god who came from the stars. It was faint but consistent, repeating every 37 hours with mathematical precision. The same 37-hour cycle that now resonated within the Earth's magnetic field. Astrophysicists scrambled to analyze it. Some called it an unprecedented natural phenomenon, perhaps caused by a rapidly spinning neutron star or magnetar. Others quietly admitted that its structure was too ordered. The intervals carried harmonics that resembled encoded data. To the untrained eye, it looked like static, but when visualized, the pattern formed geometric shapes eerily similar to those carved into ancient temple walls. Online forums buzzed with theories. Some linked it to the Great Pyramid's alignment with Orion's belt. Others to the mysterious hums recorded in the oceans and atmosphere. A few saw it as a warning, a call from the same intelligence that the ancients once tried to appease through monumental architecture. Whatever it was, it had crossed the threshold between myth and measurable science. As more data poured in, the pattern began to evolve. The signal's strength fluctuated, synchronized with solar activity and Earth's rotation. It was as if something or someone was adjusting it in real time. A global monitoring network formed spontaneously among independent scientists sharing information outside government channels. What they discovered deepened the mystery. The pulse contained nested layers of frequency, almost like multiple voices speaking at once. Tsoukalos interpreted this as communication, an echo from a civilization that had long watched humanity's progress. He believed the ancients had once received this same signal and built their monuments as both markers and stabilizers to prepare for its eventual return. Now, as modern civilization reached a technological threshold, the message had resumed its broadcast. Humanity had awakened the system, and the system was responding. Governments took notice. Radio telescopes that once streamed public data suddenly went offline for maintenance. Scientific briefings were restricted. Still, traces of the signal leaked through, recordings showing harmonic distortions embedded with complex mathematical sequences. Some analysts recognized prime number progressions, others saw repeating Fibonacci ratios. To Tsoukalos, it was unmistakable, a coded transmission built on the universal language of mathematics. Around the world, phenomena grew harder to dismiss. Unexplained lights appeared again, not just in the skies, but within the atmosphere, ribbons of luminescence moving with purpose. Instruments picked up bursts of radiation that aligned with the signal's peak intervals. Satellites briefly malfunctioned, then rebooted as if recalibrated. For a few seconds, some even transmitted coordinates pointing directly toward Orion. The cycle was complete. Earth had responded, and now something had answered back. Whether it was a call, a test, or a recall sequence, was still unknown. But across research centers and hidden observatories, a quiet realization spread. Humanity was no longer alone in the conversation. As scientists raced to decode the data, a startling pattern emerged. Embedded within the transmission was a countdown sequence, counting not in seconds, but in planetary rotations. Whatever was coming, it was synchronized with Earth's own pulse. Humanity learned that the message was never just a warning, it was an activation.